Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good life. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen Hutton, and this is my Friday Photographer Inspiration Friday. And while everybody's getting on board, I just wanted to share. I don't normally share a lot about who I am and what I do, but I realize some people hit on these videos without any explanation of who the heck I am. I'm Karen Hutton. I am a Fujifilm professional ex-photographer, makes me a professional brand partner of Fujifilm. I'm a landscape and travel photographer. I'm watching for my guest today to jump in here. There she is. Okay, Gilmar, hold on one second. And so the rest of it is I'm an artist, I'm a speaker, I'm an educator, an author. I do all these things. I started these lives just out of a desire to connect, out of a desire to inspire. It's what my work is really all about, with all the different avenues. I'm giving you this explanation because who I'm bringing on here today is a friend of mine. We're going to talk about how we met and some other things. But she is just one of the most inspirational people. When I started this series, I was doing it solo, and I still do it solo sometimes. We talk about post-processing, and I started the whole thing with a big dissertation about purpose, because I think it's really important. And I think it's important to mine our lives and use our lives in the grand scheme to create art, to create this voice that we have as artists, to enliven, enlighten, and bring more light to the planet, especially at this time, because I think we are empowered as artists we have an opportunity, shall we say, to bring more light to the planet, and we need that now. And so, speaking of light, I'm bringing my friend Gilmar Smith into this, because we'll talk about her in a second. Let's just give technology a moment to catch up here. And y'all can hear me, right? Hey, you!
Hello!
There she is! How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here with
I'm
you.
so happy. So happy you have it. Just you guys, Gilmar and I have been geeking out the last 24 hours on doing this, on what we're going to talk about, why, and that. It's just been really exciting. I have missed you so much.
Oh, me too. Me too. Your wonderful voice and all your fun personality and our fun conversations and
I know.
hangouts. It's just
I
the
know.
traveling.
I
The
know.
traveling that's killing me.
I know. So Gilmar and I used to, we're all so busy in our lives and our professions and everything. And you and I used to meet up at events and catch up and talk
Yeah.
about things kind of on the run, but still we got to do that. We don't get to do that now. So I'm like, I'm going to have all my friends over, who inspire me
Oh,
and make me happy and glad I do what I do. And you are certainly one of them.
oh, thank
So I'm
you.
really geeked out that you're here.
I'm so happy to be here and I'm so caffeinated and everything and I'm just ready.
Oh, oh dear.
Well,
He's caffeinated. Watch out. Duck, you guys. Duck now.
it might be coffee, it might be wine. I might be blowing my wine just to
Bring
we'll
it.
see. Yeah,
Bring it
right.
all. We may be here long enough to switch to wine. No, I'm just kidding. I usually keep this to an hour just because out of respect for people's time and so on and so forth. So Gilmar is, gosh, how do I describe you? You're just like this creative machine genius.
I'm gonna wear
Um,
my glasses so I can read
there
this
you go. I know.
because I cannot see
So
anything.
all these, I know these comments, and I try to answer questions as we go. So you guys, if you have questions or comments, hit it. Just go for it. If I don't get to it right away, I'll swing back. But Gilmar, okay? First of all, how do you describe what you do? When somebody says, "What kind of photography do you do?" I look at it and I'm like, your title in my mind is, "Oh my God." It's so scopy and creative, and it involves portraits, but it involves so much more. How do you describe it?
It's just imagination. I think that I love photography. I love taking pictures, but I feel like I'm always missing something when I'm taking a picture without having to do anything to do with. I think that there's so many elements that I miss, or my imagination wants to bring to life. So to me is crucial. Just as much as it is taking the picture, it is just putting something else on Photoshop.
Yep.
Um, Part of the things, and the way that I started doing it, and I started this approach was with my son when my son was about 3 or 4 years old. I don't remember, or 5 even. And I used to sit with him and sketch and create a story and talk. And then it was like the little trick that I had for him to be comfortable in front of the camera was building a story, talking about it, sketching it, and then I will bring him to the studio and I will tell him, hey, how about if we take a picture of this story that we were talking about, and you can do what you told me that you would do if you were this character, and blah blah blah. So he will pose and he will do whatever we talk about, and he will be comfortable in the camera, but we built all that story. We talk about all of those amazing things, and I felt like I was cheating the moment if I will leave all those amazing things, all that imagination behind,
Yep.
and just take the pictures. So I started incorporating it, and then I have such this funny imagination myself as well, that I get these silly ideas, and they're ridiculous sometimes or whatever, but it is so enjoyable for me to put it together, just to think about different elements that I can add, or put in a little bit of humor, or playing with color palettes and all of that, and that brings me to life. It's just
Yeah.
the thing that I enjoy the most, and the thing that I hold on dearly to, just to enjoy life and
Yeah.
just to feel myself.
Exactly. And you guys who are watching, so Cameron's my Scotland anchor.
Oh.
So he's always helping me so much. Annette, oh, you know what, Annette, you got to come on here too. So Annette, my friend Annette is watching. She's got to leave, but yeah, it's going to be good. It's right up your alley. Anyways, so Cameron has put Gilmar's. In fact, I'm going to put that. I can't walk, talk, and chew. I'm pinning the comments. If you guys want to check out check out her work, I just pinned it in the excuse me, in the comments. So I want to roll the tape back to, well, I don't know whether to start with Google Plus or start with your background. Either way, it's good. Let's start with your background, because you have a really interesting, and I think important to share, things. You have things in your life and your background that you've built this on. And I know in these days it's hard, because we've had a couple of years of pure hell, and so trying to be creative and build something and realize our imagination is something quite a bit more powerful than we ever gave it credit for. These are the times to start understanding that. So for context, just share like where you came from.
I am from Venezuela. I'm from Venezuela. I've been here since 2003. I come from a crazy family. Like, both of my grandmothers are Venezuelan, but one of my grandfather was Italian, and the other one was Spanish from one of the Canary Islands, Tenerife.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, so I grew up in this humongous, crazy, very together family, like with those weekly family reunions of about 50 people, lots of cousins. Never really needed friends, because and I had a lot of friends, but a really big family that it was amazing
Oh
to grow up.
wow! So no wonder
Yeah.
you miss. No wonder you miss
Yes.
home.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah,
Mm.
it's been crazy. I haven't been in Venezuela in 13 years. Last time I went was to celebrate my son's second birthday, and I was there. I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks, and I ended up staying there for 2 months. And I'm so happy I did, because since then I've never been back, because is it's so crazy over there, and I don't feel safe myself, and I don't feel that it's safe for me to take my kids, even though I will absolutely love for them to see how beautiful Venezuela is, but it's a crazy situation over there. So it's just like that thing that like a little part of you is missing. And I was discussing that with you earlier. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, when things happen in your life, or when you have kids, you want to show your kids things about your childhood, or the places, or where you grew up and whatever. I haven't been able to do that with my kids, and I hope one day I'll be able to, but sadly it's not the moment to do it.
Wow. And like I was saying, I really foresee a day we'll be able to do that. I really
I
do.
hope so too.
I think and that's why
I
we're
hope
calling
so.
down the light, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
We're just gonna burn the eyeballs of evil and darkness with pure light. So that's what we get to do as artists. So
Yeah, that's totally
sneak,
right.
sneaky warriors we are. So you know what? Can you tip your camera down just a little bit, just so we can see more of
Ooh.
your beautiful face?
All right. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
because this whole view sort of splits us up.
Yeah, there we go.
So you have this incredible background coming from this incredible country, and that feeling of like when you talk about home and your family, it always feels bigger than life, and it feels colorful and juicy and just blah. And it's, that's part of how you are too. So that bigger than life element, and plus your personality always comes through your work. And then you have a real adventurous streak too. You love to travel, and that's kind of what brought you here, right?
Yes, yes. Well, as I was telling you, I we used to come here to the States regularly with my mom, shopping in New York or vacations in Miami, and blah 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 blah. While growing up, when I graduated from high school, I went to Temple University, and I did the English as second language program over there, and was about there for about almost 2 years, I will say. And then I went back to Venezuela. Um, I had a company with my brother, and I was going to school, and I bought my house when I was 21 years old.
Wow.
And and it,
Oh
it
my
felt like great. I think that it was like I was like the first one of my friends who had their own house and blah blah blah. But I was like, is this it?
God.
Is
Right?
this
Boy, do
really
I know that
it?
feeling. Yep.
Like okay, it's cool, whatever, I have this, but I wanted more. I wanted so I started traveling, and in one of my travels here I met my ex-husband, which is my son's dad, and we dated for about 2 years, and then we got on a plane and we flew to Santorini, and we got married. And um and then I was here for good, and I've been here. I
He's
mean, we got
he was American.
yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes, yes. We got married in 2005. Yes, I believe 2005, and we were married for about 8 years. Yeah.
And he passed away.
No,
This
no.
is the what? So
I
you got married
divorced.
again?
I
Okay.
divorced. It was a lucky one. Like we had a great marriage. We didn't work as a couple, but I mean, it was, and we have our son, and all of that. He loved Venezuela. He got to go to Venezuela before things got really crazy over
Oh,
there. And
yeah.
I remember what time we were there for 2 months, and he didn't want to come. He
Oh,
didn't want to come back. He had the time of his life. Yeah, but I got divorced in 2012, at the end of 2012, or early
and then
2013.
you met your husband. You're in
Yes, yes, and he passed away on January 2016.
because I met you in 2011, I think it was.
Yes, yes,
So
yes. Google Plus times.
right. So that
Yeah.
brings us to Google Plus because first of all, Google Plus. Second of all, losing your husband, and that was, which I remember it just being, so horrific for all of us because we became a family on Google Plus. Even if we didn't see each other all the time, we
It was
shared this.
different. There
Yeah,
was
I
something
mean,
so
Google.
magical about that place, and community and friendship, and when hangouts, like before Instagram, before anything, we used to do
Yep.
those super fun shows and hangouts, and those super huge photo walks that brought us all together,
Right.
and
I
it was
know.
amazing.
Yeah,
It
it
was
really was.
amazing.
It was an incredible time. And I had this funny feeling that it was like this slice, so we better enjoy it. But it really was like an incubator of so
Yeah.
much amazingness. I know I did shows and we all did, we did them together, we did them individually. We were constantly sharing and growing. And that was when I remember you starting this
Yeah.
journey that you're on. Cause I remember you were like learning, you were figuring out what you wanted to do. And then you were learning the techniques and you were, all
I
the basic
didn't know
steps.
any photography when I started Google Plus.
Wow.
I learned, and I started playing with photography because of Google Plus, and I got to meet so many people like you, and so many inspiring people, and everybody at Kelvin One, which is funny. It's a complete circle because now I teach on Kelvin One like you, and all of that. But yeah, it was a time, and photography at that time was and still is my therapy. It is my happy place. And at the time it was because I was getting divorced. My son was recently diagnosed with autism, and as I was going through all those changes, and adapting to those changes, and learning so many things in real life, and all of that, I remember just locking myself from time to time in my little studio in my garage, and just being me, and just having my space, and having that connection, that beautiful connection with your creativity and your inner child that you have. And I think that most of us can remember when we were little, just coloring or doing anything that we used to transport somewhere else. Well, I still have that feeling now as a 42 years old, when I lock myself in studio, and you take away my camera, and you take away my Photoshop, and you take away my life, because
Right.
that's that's where I find myself. And life is about losing and finding yourself many times, but I know that I can always find myself in a place, and it's in creativity, and doing all the things that I
Because I
that I
remember a
do.
time your computer up and died, and you were just dead in the water, and everybody pitched in and got you a new computer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's been I will say, it's been crazy, because I think that my life has gone like this. Like, you met me when I was getting divorced and all of that. Then I had like a few 3 years of readjusting to my new life, having my daughter. Even though it's like, I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer and everything, but my pregnancy was a complicated one, and then it was just like. But anyways, then when Laurent passed away, I
That
had
was
to
your
deal.
husband. That was your second husband.
Yes, and I
Right.
had to deal with all of that. That great community that it was Google Plus, and all the people that I met in Google Plus, they are so meaningful to me, because I don't have any family in here or anything. It's just my kids and I, and they became my family. They were the ones that called me every day. They were the ones that did all kind of, I don't know if you remember that I used to have like this humongous hamburger hat that I
Yeah.
made, and all of that. And it was like everybody wanna have their picture taken with it. I took it to photo walks. So when he passed away, I remember a few weeks after, one night my phone started beeping, and it was just like notification after notification. It turns out that they caught out the hamburger hat, and all those people from Google Plus posted pictures with the hamburger hat.
My
And there were so many amazing things and so much support that I received for that group of people. That is just amazing. And we build that in social media at this
Right.
at the starting of the boom of this social media, and it's a community that is still together, and it's a group of people that still meet regularly, that we talk regularly. So it is so beautiful. I see Lori there.
Yeah, I
She's
know.
such a
Lori's part
big
of that
part of
crew.
it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, of course.
I
So
think we have a few others. I think a few others were like, thumbs upping the Google Plus days who remember that and the
yeah.
incredibleness of. I know that's what, gave me my start. I was trying out ideas. I didn't know if I was any good at what I did, and I wanted to try writing, and I wanted to experiment with photography and Photoshop, and just, I don't know, just let it rip, and we all did. And that set so many of us in motion, including you. And then so what I remember is, I remember when Laurent died, and I remember, I mean, the grief, but that we all felt, but of course you more than anyone, and just how hard that was to, like, you hit rock bottom,
Oh yeah.
and starting over, and just what was that like, and how do you think? Because now looking back, of course, hindsight is always 2020, but looking back, oh God, so much grief, but look at what happened. It
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I think that I just don't know. I think that life have been preparing me for hard times or whatever. Um, Photography, it was like life was telling me something was coming and I have to get you ready for it.
oof.
So, um, right before he passed away, we have our daughter. When he passed away, Nora was 1 year old and 5 months, I
Right.
believe. I spent my whole pregnancy on bed rest. Then I had like the most horrible postpartum depression.
Yeah.
I had to move with him. He used to be a race car engineer, and um, by that time the team that he was working in was based in South Carolina. So we moved to North Carolina because it was like right in the middle between both of them, and so it was a new city. It was me just being pregnant and in bed and living a new life and all of that. So after I had my daughter, I had like a really bad postpartum depression, and I felt like, and I talk openly about it because you know what, there's so many people that don't talk about their shit,
Right.
and there is such a taboo, which I don't, because I have been to hell and back so many times, and I'm still here. Um so
Yes,
I
you are.
remember I remember during that depression looking at myself in the mirror, and it's such a weird feeling that you don't recognize yourself, like you are completely disconnected. To me, is I remember that moment so clearly. It was like I didn't feel like an internal connection to that image that I was looking in the mirror. Like I
Wow.
felt like everything, my essence and everything that was me was completely lost. So once again, I was like, okay, and by then, I'm telling you, I absolutely love my kids and everything, but I think that you have to have you to be able to give them something. So
Right.
I knew I needed to find myself again. And I started a 365 self-portrait project,
I remember.
and and I didn't want to. I wanted to find joy, and I wanted to get the connection with my art again. And obviously, I didn't tell anybody what I was feeling and what I was going through. I started taking the pictures, and they were colorful. And everybody used to write me every day, "Hey, I love your things. It makes me laugh. It makes me smile. They are so fun. They are so funny. You come up with these concepts." And the truth is that I was struggling, but every time that I was taking those pictures, and every time I came out with the idea and I was putting those things together on Photoshop, I was laughing again, and I was enjoying myself, and it was so magical to me that I came back to life, and it was just because I was doing what I loved.
Hmm.
And that's what you need. And I think that when we feel that way, we just have to get in contact to what we love. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes we have to dig dig a little deeper, But fast forward, I did my thing, and fast forward so many months after, he passed away. And I'm go shit. So it's just like I'm building myself again. I find myself again. I'm just going and boom again. And the thing is that it was such a hard time. We were supposed to get married like on the 21st of January. He passed away on the 2nd. And there were so many things in there. I was in North Carolina, and I'm sorry if anybody from North Carolina feel offended by it, but I freaking hated it there. I don't know if it was my situation. I don't know if it was the cold. I never felt the place. I think there was, so I remember like the days after he passed away, I just sat down with myself with depression, with all the worry that I didn't have any money. I didn't have absolutely anything. I had 2 kids, like the fears of the worst fears that a mother could have, or anybody, and the grief and all of that together. I remember the police officer knocking at my door, telling me what happened, and that he was dead. And he told me, "Do you know any? Can I call somebody? Do you know your neighbors? Do you have any friends?" For the first time in my life, I have absolutely nobody.
Wow.
Nobody to call, nobody that I knew in that city. So of course my brother had to fly there, and people that knew me flew over there, but they were days before they arrived, and it's such a delicate time. So in those nights with myself, I was like, well, I have 2 kids. I have to do something about this. So my goal was to find joy. So I made a list of the things and the moments in my life that I felt the most joyful. And, my photography, obviously my kids, and the places. Like before, I used to live here in Orlando, and I was like, well, I freaking love Orlando. I love the magic. I love Disney. I love the parks. And what a better place to raise my kids than that. And so I made my list, and I was like, this is my freaking testament. I'm gonna live my life based on this fucking list.
And did you by any chance, I'll say why later, did you handwrite it?
I have it in my phone.
You what?
I have it in my phone. It's a list that I made on my phone, laying in bed.
On your phone,
notes.
Okay. So
yes.
you wrote it this way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And what I did was like, I'm gonna sell everything that I own, everything that I have, except my kids' bed and my photography. And then I used to work too with a race team, and the owner of the race team, that they're based in Pompano Beach, he sent one of his drivers over to North Carolina to move all my things back here to Florida. And I had a lot of angels, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I didn't have much family around, but I had a lot of little angels that helped me through, and I will never forget any of them. But I had my angels that helped me out during that hard time. So I just moved here, and I didn't know how I was gonna pay for anything. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I was like, I'm gonna fucking live through that list. And I'm gonna do photography. That is what I love to do, and it's gonna be my main income. It's gonna be my job. I'm just gonna do that. And I didn't know how I was gonna do anything, but I told myself I'm gonna give myself a year, and if I'm able to make it 1 year, then I will be able to make it 2, and then I will be able to make it 3 years. And 1 year I was like, well, I wasn't a millionaire. I wasn't like, but I was doing it, and I was happy. And one of the things is, like, I felt so empty inside during that time that I knew that I couldn't go out and work and do something that I wasn't enjoying, because I was super depressed, that I was so scared of how depressed I was.
Right.
So, and I wanted to do something that allowed me to be present in my kids' life.
Yes.
I want it to be, especially with my kids that has an IEP, to go to everything in school, to be present, to be there whenever they needed me. And that was something that I wasn't gonna sacrifice. And everybody, family, friends, and everybody told me you're fucking crazy. And I was like, I don't give a flying F. I'm just gonna do it because if I don't live this way, I'm not teaching anything to my kids because
Right.
they're gonna see me miserable every single day. And I want my kids, this is a really hard situation. And I want my kids, when they turn around and look back at their childhood, I want them to see happiness. I want them to feel joy. And I want them to then learn that there is going to come a time, an age, when they're going to realize what happened in the moment that we were living. But that's not going to be a big impact to them emotionally because all they're going to remember is everything that I did for them to make it beautiful. And
Wow.
and that to me is my life completely. So I just don't care about anything. If I have that magic wand and I can make their life beautiful, I will do it. And obviously I will try my best to find my own joy in the process, but I find joy seeing them enjoying their life as well.
You know, I talk about, like I said, I told you when we were talking, but I've also said it to, my audience that having a sense of purpose, which, there's a lot of different ways you can define that, but having a why, having a purpose, having a, in that sense, having a vision about what you're doing and why and the impact that you want it to have, you've just illustrated it in life, in your life. And this is why I keep bringing the subject up, because as artists, it really helps make your art more signature and makes your voice more heard, and it makes for better art. But it doesn't stop there, because it affects your life. It affects the people around you. And you've just illustrated it better than I ever could. That, because what you're talking about, which created this life, which I know it still has its ups and downs, as all of ours do,
Mm-hmm.
but what you have created out of the ashes is incredible. And I want to talk a little bit more about that next. But the vision, what's the right way to say it? It's like your position, what you just described, your way of showing up just screams through your work. And so, when I'm talking about it's a quantum thing, it's like, if you really, really want your work to sing in a new way, it may mean learning a new technique or getting new gear, whatever. I mean, those things can happen. But more than anything, it's having that sense of, I absolutely have to do this, and I have to do it this way, whether you've got your list on your phone or you're showing up for your kids or whatever, because it's a quantum thing. In the quantum field, it knows no space, no time. It doesn't take any practice, but it takes belief, it takes commitment, and it, boom, lays itself right into the pixels of your images. And so if you want, like, I use that as an entry point to talk about these things, because it's so deep, right? But
Yeah.
it's a way of understanding the impact that using what you've been given as, like, stock to start the soup, so to speak.
Yeah. And there is something magical in every single one of us. And the things that I, obviously, this is a learning process. I'm not going to tell you that, oh, I started photography and look, now I am
Yeah,
amazing.
no,
No, it's not.
no, it
And we
isn't.
have, and we make our mistakes and we learn from them, and then we keep going. And one of the things that I'm gonna tell you is that you're gonna find so many ways to make money as a photographer. You're going to find so many clients, you're going to find so many things to do, and there are going to be some ones that are going to excite you. There are some going to be so many great opportunities, some that they feel so good to be true, some other ones that are not as good as they are. And the point that I'm trying to make with this is that your artistic magic comes from within. So sometimes when you try to create to please or to attract this kind of client or these kind of things, you are going to lose that magic that makes your art unique, and that makes your art connect to your audience, to anybody out there, and they make you feel something. And that have happened to me, that, okay, well, I love doing this, but I need to make money, so I have to go that way. But if you, and that's okay, because we need to find an income, we need to make this thing work, but never lose the real magic that makes you who you are, that brings your creativity, that is your style, or and everything, because then you lose yourself. And I have lost my magic, and I have found it so many times over and over again. And now that have happened many times, and it's like, okay, you know that you want to do this, but you cannot abandon this, because what's the point? So one of the things that I do is just like, I'm not going to sacrifice my camera for income, in a way that it's okay to make money out of what you do, but don't do something that you hate with your camera. Like, don't make that connection disconnect, don't make it break. Like, for instance, I don't like weddings.
Yeah, right.
I've never been that girl. I'm sorry. I was never that girl that dream with a big dress. And my family wanted me to do that. And when they started planning my wedding, I was like, I don't want that. And I got on an airplane with my ex-husband, and we flew to Santorini, just the both of us, and sent pictures and videos to everybody. We had the best time ever and the most beautiful wedding. But that's not my thing. So
Right.
I'm not gonna go and photograph weddings just because I need money, because that will make my relationship with my photography and with the thing that I love break, and it's just gonna just make everything wrong.
So
So
then my question is, I think you're going to tell me, but like, include this part is, so if you're not doing weddings and you got to make money and you can't quite yet doing it this way, what did you do, or do you do instead?
well, you know what I do, and I absolutely love doing, and I never thought that I was going to do it, and it's such a big part of my income, are my personal branding sessions.
So I saw those, and I was like, I wanted you to talk about that, so I'm glad you brought it up. So
They're not headshots,
no, they're
right?
not.
They are not corporate pictures. They're not the basic, that they're beautiful and they're great personal branding sessions that you see online when you do a Google search. What I want to offer is just something that is more like my self-portraiture, that
Yeah.
is crazy, it's fun, it's colorful, and it's something that is not for everyone. But if you want to cause impact, and if you want to be different than anybody else, then I'm your girl. Because I approach it in a creative way, just pretty much the same that I approach my kids when we create all these things that you have behind me, that I have behind me. I sit with my clients and I tell them, hey, what is your business? What is your favorite color? What is your personality? And I feel all of that. And then when I create that connection, I see what kind of ideas I can come up with, and how fun I can make their pictures to make a connection with their audience in a different way than anybody else, you know?
And
So
and in a way that resonates with some part of them. Like, what part of them are you trying to capture? Their essence, their
essence, their personality. You know that the best way to kind of capture that is like the same way that we photographers talk about our art. When you talk about what you love to do, there is that sparkle in your eye, right? So
huh?
all of these people that I'm working with, they have started a business, right? So
Yeah.
if you sit with them and you ask them, why did you start your business? What is the best thing that you love about it? What do you want to go from here? What kind of other products you want to offer? And you see that magic and you capture. So
And
when you
that's purpose. That's the whole thing about, and that's thank you for making my whole point. You just justified my whole life. That's it. Yep.
yeah,
Okay,
so
carry on. I'm
it's
listening.
not it's not like a boring headshot or
Yeah.
anything. It's just I'm allowing themselves to show themselves to their audience, to their customers in a more authentic and fun way. So because the way that I buy right now, and it's mostly like you see on social media, and before you buy anything, you kind of want to know who the owners of the
Yep.
business is, what their point of view, their values, or whatever. So
You want to know their
that's
why. You want to know
their
why.
why and
Yeah.
all of that. So, and that's what I want to do whenever I meet with these people, whenever they book me for a session. I just don't want them to come walk in front of a backdrop and me take a picture. No, I want to feel a connection with them,
Right.
and the more connection I feel with them, I know that the more I can deliver, and the more understanding I have of what they do and why they do it, in
Right.
that way I can portray it better to their images.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm
Right.
really passionate, and I enjoy those so much. And it's also a fantastic way to network,
Yeah.
because you get to meet people from all over the place doing all kind of amazing things. So many women starting new businesses, and to me that's magical. It's just I love seeing that magic when you're starting something new, when you're working for something that you love.
Yeah, exactly. And it also creates, it's sort of like if you'd gone and done, in your case, weddings, you're good enough that you would have been recommended for more weddings, which is
Exactly.
more of what you don't want. Where this way you get to show up, be who you are, and get recommended for more of that and build that. And you can, it kind of
Yeah.
all eventually becomes just all one big, glorious, creative ball.
Hi, Enzo. My boy's here.
Tell him hi.
Enzo, come and say hi really quick.
Is he coming over?
Yeah, he's 15 already. Enzo, come here. There
Hi.
you go. He
This is
cannot
that. Look
hear
at his
you.
hair. Is that new hair? Is that just?
Yes.
Is that? Oh, I love it. Are you gonna be doing? You got to do the foot. Nice. In front of the camera much?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's something about my kids. They know their good size and they know their creative things. My daughter is 7 years old, and at least twice daily, Mom, what if we do this picture like this, and I'm doing this, and then you put this and this and this? And it's just so funny because she already thinks like that, and to me it's so magical. And my son is so funny because they used to go to the parks or everywhere with me, and I will stop everywhere taking pictures. So now I don't take my camera with me every time, but my son has his own camera. So whenever we go to Disney, you see me and my daughter just sitting in a bench, and he's just taking pictures of everything.
God.
And it's like the complete circle. So, and that's amazing because I gave them, I think that I gave them something that is so needed, which is an outlet.
Yeah.
Art was an emotional outlet for me, and I think that is important for any kid to have that. So whenever shit hits the fan, they have something to do, and art has that magical um healing power that you get just submerged into it, and you forget about whatever is wrong in your world, and everything becomes pretty.
The thing I've always admired about you, and Cameron makes the comment, it's like being yourself and not hiding behind a mask, and what you're trying to bring out. And it's so true. And it's so it's not only empowering, it's a release of power into your own world and life. But one of the things I really always admired so much about you is, you hear this roadblock, you hear this mindset where, okay, art's fine, but you can't make a living at it. And the thing that your kids are learning that I just get chills every time is that not only all the things you said about, having a creative outlet, but you can also make a living at it. And they've seen how you've been able to do that and to use your imagination in that way too. Not just in how do I make better art, but it's only art for me because I can't make a living at it, which a lot of people think that way. Instead, it's like, and what can I do with it? I mean, I find myself constantly having to push myself out of that mindset too. So I get it. And it's like probably something I'm trying to even solve for myself on some levels, because, we don't just grow in one way. we grow a little bit here and then we're stuck
Hmm.
over here. We grow a little bit
Yeah,
here.
and my point here is not I don't want to fall in the toxic positivity, because life is not like that.
Uh-uh.
And gosh, there are some times that it hits you hard, and it
Yep.
not only hits you, but even when you know the tools, and even when you have gone through it all and got out of it, when you fall again, it's just like you're blank, and you don't know where to start or how to get out.
Right.
So it's it's losing and finding yourself all over again,
Yeah.
and finding that connection with what you love. And as I said, my biggest inspiration is my kids, and giving them the tools. And not only that, is just to make them remember, because they're very young. And when you are that my son is 15, my daughter is 7. You don't have a notion of many things, and I think that is after you get married, or after you have your own kids, when you realize so many things about your parents, and what they did and what they did not. So um, life is short. You don't know how long you're going to be here, or what influence you're going to have on people, or on your kids, on your family, or if your art is going to survive it all or not.
Right.
What I want to do, in the way that I want to live my life, is when I turn around and see, I was like, being sure that I did everything I could, and I did my all. And there are some days that you feel like giving it all, and there are some other days that you just don't have it. So it's just about the way that I parent, and the way that I live, that we don't know if we're gonna be here tomorrow or not.
Right.
But it's just like, did I do what I could, or did I procrastinate it all?
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, I know. I was just, I mean, hearing you talk it. So like in late 2019, I started kind of like going, God, there's just got to be like this. I love photography, and I will never stop loving photography, and everything I do in photography, I love. But you're not it isn't just a one dimensional thing. There's other things, and I always had this extra thought in the side of me, like, well, what else could I do? And like I have art in my family, people who can draw. I can't really draw, but I had these little movie, vignettes always playing in my mind, which were this conglomeration of different artistic styles and cartoon characters and my own things. And I started thinking I needed some downtime, and I needed to do something. And I thought to myself, I was like, what this? Finally looked at it, and I'm like, who are you and what do you look like? And I started creating it. And then that was shortly before 2020 hit, and then 2020 hit, and then it was like, then it was just depressed and stopped dead in the water with everything I was doing. And I was like, well, what does this look like? And I just
yeah.
started creating this other line of work, and even I was looking at it going, where the hell did that come from? But it was really, I still not entirely sure where that's all going, but it's this combination of things I've created out of pieces of other
Oh,
art,
that's
and then some that I created from my photos, some where I combine them. Um,
But it
using,
brings you that feeling of new. And I think
yep,
that we all need that. Or I don't know if it's a personality thing. I cannot be doing the same thing over and over again, because then I feel lost. And it's so funny, and this is not gonna go anywhere further than that. But I think it was in 2019 or 2018 that I was feeling like, okay, you give. I need challenges in my life, because since life has always thrown so many balls at me, I think that I'm used to that adrenaline. And when things sometimes come too much, I feel like I need challenges to get inspired, to bring, something, some fire
right,
out of me. So I started doing, and this was for pure fun, um, castings for commercials, and all kind of things. but I suck at it. I'm so bad at it.
That's good to know too.
But
You gotta know
it
what you
was
suck
the
at.
feeling of doing something new that I would, even when I screw up the audition, I would just sit in my car and crack up laughing. And I was like, I came here, I made a total fool of myself. But I did something new. I haven't done it anymore. I did it like a few times and it was super fun to do. But it's something, you know, magical, learning something new. Like I just launched my new website. My old website was all crappy. It was like, one time it was somebody called me and told me, hey, since when you started selling Viagra? It was
Oh,
that my website was hacked. So I was like, and you know, I kept having these problems with my website, and I was like, screw it, you know.
oh my
The last
God.
thing that you want is your customers to go there to your website and, you know,
Yeah.
penis enlargement spills.
Yeah, that's my new business. Oh my
So
gosh.
I took it down completely. I was like, you know what? I don't even care about the content before all of that. I feel like I need to renew everything. I'm just going, and I built the whole thing from nothing. I have never built that website before. I wanted to throw my computer so many times to the
Yeah.
wall, but I built it. Did I enjoy it? Some a couple of minutes I did, but most of the time it was a really crappy time. But the proud feeling that I have when I go to my website is magical, and I did it, and I know how to change it if I don't like it anymore.
Yep.
So
I love that part. I love knowing how to do that part. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I think that yeah, like as creative and everything, if we are in the art industry, if we are creative, if we're artists, we always crave that newest feeling, that inspiration, that and we have to go not only in photography, we have to search a little bit on painting or
Right.
acting. And
Right.
next time I'm gonna do the singing thing. I don't know if that's gonna go really bad. But I think that's what makes us feel alive, you know? And being right all the time or doing the same thing that you know that you're great at is
Yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. But are you learning anything new? We learn the most with the punches.
Yeah.
So you know, just stepping back and trying something new and realizing that, oh, somebody's at the door.
I got I got FedEx at my door. Sorry. Say that last thing again. My doorbell is ringing.
I know, I heard that. Yeah, just realizing that we are not that good, and I think that that's something that I do all the time. Is just overanalyze myself,
Yeah.
and it's just like, you know, you are not the greatest photographer, you're not the greatest artist in the world, and Gilmar, you just have a lot to learn. So I push myself, which is sometimes is hurtful, just to try
Yeah.
to treat myself like that. But it's just like a little bit of you don't feel comfortable of whatever you're doing, because we're here to learn. We're not
Yeah.
here to settle.
Right.
And we always have to keep growing.
Keep growing, keep going, keep taking it. Yeah, I'm in the midst of all that stuff too. It's very uncomfortable, quite frankly.
It is
It's just
uncomfortable. It is
ah,
super uncomfortable.
it really is.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, as a very wise woman in my life pointed out the other day, which I knew, but at the same time, it was really cool to hear her. Is that your body really kind of doesn't know the difference between, you know, like the joy and the it's all just the same to your body. You know, your mind is like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it means this, oh, it means that. So it's really a decision. The discomfort
Yeah.
part, you know, is it like what it means and where you take it is your decision, because your body's just like, okay. And so you just have to sort of swim through the, I hate this, I don't like this, I'm uncomfortable, I'm
Yeah.
scared, I'm whatever, because you just have to really keep what it is where you're headed in your mind, even if everything is pointing the other way, as you know, because eventually all those things are going to line up, and in that wonderful quantum way, we're going to create what it is that we really have in mind, as long as we keep it in mind.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
refuse to
definitely,
settle.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely,
So,
definitely.
so you now have, you have, so now you've done some Kelby One courses. So tell
Hmm.
everybody what courses you've got and where they can find you there. Because we've got your website pinned, gilmarphotography.com, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I have on Kelby One, I have a class on that we did at the end of 2020. Was it? Yes, at the end of 2020. That it was creative portraits at home, which it was for all of us creatives that were at home and wanted to find any kind of motivation or, you know, sharing that art and creativity with our families, like I do with my kids, because that's my favorite thing to do is just create with my two little monsters and
Yeah.
bring their imagination to life. And you know, it's just so magical. So there is that class.
Hold on. We just lost
Are
you.
you still there? I
There
lost
we
you for a
go. Now,
second because yeah, I had a call coming in. Then I had a class on color grading. Then I have a class on personal branding,
mm-hmm.
and oh my goodness, then I have a creative family portraiture. I think I'm missing one or two.
Yeah, got a bunch of them. So
Yes.
kelby1.com, I have a few classes there too. You can just go there and, Gilmar Smith, Karen Hutton, whoever your heroes are, you can go in and see what kind of classes they have. It's a great way to learn something very specific about something that, who knows, might trigger your imagination into a whole new direction than you
Yeah,
expect.
like your class that I watched live on Kelby One.
Oh, that first one. That's right.
That was so in the stage in the theater. That was so
That
beautiful.
was so fun. It was just like,
Yeah.
I was really nervous about that. And then when I saw your beautiful face and Mark Rodriguez and some of the other, my Florida peeps, it was
Oh
like,
yeah, we were
oh,
there like the cheerleaders. It was
I
so
know,
awesome.
totally. And, there it was Google Plus, paying back dividends again
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you guys are like my plants in the audience that I was just able to relax and go, okay, I can do this. Because that was my,
It was amazing. It was
it,
amazing class.
it was really fun. It was really fun. Gosh. Yeah, you are all my heroes. You guys are my heroes. I'll tell you what, all you guys out there. Thank you, Cameron. So Cameron put my link in there and he put your link in there to
Oh,
Kelby.
that's nice.
Yeah. Thank you,
That's so nice.
Cameron. And so what final thoughts would you leave people with? Like, this has been incredible. I mean, just incredible what you've shared. It's a treasure trove. It's rich. I just want to hug you so hard right now. I can hardly speak.
Oh, please hug me. I need
I
a hug.
know. But what, like, final thought, if you were to just leave everybody with a thing, what would that be?
I mean, just what I tell everybody is just create what you love and do what you love. It doesn't matter if people tell you it sucks. Just keep doing, keep going, and you see that you're gonna turn everything into magic. I think that you can watch all the tutorials, all the classes, and all that, and find, and follow every single step. But if there is not that connection with what you're doing, if there is nothing coming from within, nobody's gonna connect with it. So just do what you love, and if you like to photograph dirt, just photograph dirt the most beautiful way that you can, and you will see that amazing things are gonna grow from it.
That's so awesome. That what a great thought to leave everybody with, and it's a true one. I just love you so much. Thank you so
I
much
love
for this.
you.
This is going to keep me going all day. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, we'll be talking.
Let's keep going.
I know. Well, we can do
Okay.
part two
Okay.
A. We can always
Part
do.
two, right?
Uh-huh. So let's talk about that. Would you guys give me some hearts if you'd love to see that? See a part two if we take it to the next level. We love you too, Lori. Big hugs from both of us.
Oh, Lori, we have to get together, all of us.
I know. Even
Yeah,
if,
let's
even if
let's
it's,
do a getaway.
you can do four in these lives. Maybe we should
Oh,
just,
really? We
yeah,
can do that.
I
That'd
know.
be fun.
I can
What
barely
is
manage. I
Barb?
can.
We need
It's.
Barb.
I know we need Barb. We need. Oh my gosh! Now my brain is exploding because I can barely pull it together for two. So, but that would be fantastic. And yeah, Cam says thanks for sharing your story, and yes to part two, and all the love and the hearts are flying through here for you. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Karen, for having me today. It has been the highlight of my 2022.
Mine too. Absolutely mine too. So you guys go be creative. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll be back. Love you
Bye.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.